All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Thursday, August 14th. We have just a 7-game MLB slate to dive into in today's video. Like we always do, I'm going to dive into each and every one of these games. I'll give you my prediction on the side. I'll give you my prediction on the total. We'll talk about any other plays like player props that we like within the game as well. But as always, guys, keep an eye down on the pinned comment of this video. That'll take you to all of my final plays, so I'm actually rolling with myself. If that does interest you, if you do want to fade me, all of that absolutely free down in the pinned comment. If you faded yesterday, probably was not the best night for you. We have a whopping 8-2 night. We'll drop it to ching. We'll pump in some crowd noise. We don't need to go through it all, but everything kind of went our way with the exclusion of the Phillies money line. That was actually one of our biggest plays on the day there. And then also that Kyle Manzardo play, but that was only a third unit play, 0.33, right? So not the worst there. I mean, the Phillies one, little bum. They get smoked again with Sanchez on the mound. Yikes. But still, can we really cry over that? No, we went 8-2. So you know what? One more cha-ching. Let's keep the train moving because we do have some more good news. The ride of the day. I know the soundboard's getting abused today, but you know what? Pumping some crowd noise here for Maybach. Had David Peterson 5+ strikeouts. Got, I believe, what did we end up getting on this one? Ride of the day tracker. We got -108. David Peterson did not have a very good game. The Mets actually, he got hit up. He only lasted, 3 1/3. The Mets ended up losing, but he did get his 5 strikeouts. So, hey, I think we might have got a little lucky there with the ride of the day, but you know what? There's no pictures on the scorecard, right? We'll take the cash. Guys, if you don't know what the ride of the day is, it's simple. Just use that hashtag, ride of the day, down in the comments. I jump on board with one person's play each and every day. Give you a shout out in the next video, win or loss. If you win, we continue to roll in ride of the day plays. If you lose, you get the shout out, but we do have to talk about a loss, and no one wants that. Looking forward to seeing what Maybach throws our way today. Let's go ahead and dive into today's games, guys. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's get rocking. Game number 1, we have the Orioles taking on the Mariners. Yesterday, low-scoring game. We had the first 3 and first 5 under in this game. Ended up being 4-3 in favor of Baltimore. Trevor Rogers went 7 innings. Logan Gilbert pitched into the 7th inning. We've now seen, I guess you could say, in like 2 games here, 2 really good pitching duels. So in this one, I don't know if it's going to be the exact same, right? We have Tomoyuki Sagano on the mound. He's not exactly world class right now. And then Logan Evans, who is good and does have some talent, but he's kind of like a walking 5 innings, 3 earned as of right now. That being said, I do think that this is going to be somewhat of a close game. I feel like we're getting the better offense in Seattle at a better price than we should be. So I'm going to lean towards the Mariners here, but I don't necessarily love the idea of a bunch of runs. This total seems a little bit high. We've seen a couple low-scoring games now, so would it surprise me if all of a sudden these two teams put up some numbers? No, there looks like there's some really good run-scoring weather in Camden today. So, sure, I'm a little bit more tied to the Mariners' money line than I am the under, but neither one of these offenses really, tells me that they should go out there and pulverize the pitches. We have Logan Evans, who throws the cutter. He's going to throw the slider. Both of those should work really well against Baltimore. The splitter, the cutter, the slider, and you name it, what Sugano's going to pitch should work pretty well. Seattle's got a decent bullpen. So, yeah, I could see this being like a 5-4, 5-3 type of a game. A decent amount of runs, but not enough to get to that 10 number. So, Mariners and the under in game number 1 here. All right, next up, we have the Blue Jays taking on the Cubs. Scherzer on the mound for the Blue Jays. He's going up against Matthew Boyd. Now, yesterday, the Cubs did pull this one out. They closed at around plus 120 odds, too. So, and I saw a lot of people in the comments taking the Cubs. So, shout out to you guys. It was obviously a good look there. I don't even think Gosman pitched poorly. You know what I mean? It just ultimately the Cubs' bats showed up when they needed to, I guess. In terms of Matthew Boyd, he is coming off of kind of a weird start against St. Louis. 5 innings pitched, 7 hits, just 3 strikeouts, 3 earned. 2 starts before that, he kind of got hit up by Milwaukee. I'm willing to allow that. The start in between the two, he did shove against Baltimore. Baltimore ended up winning that game, but he went 7 scoreless, 8 strikeouts. In terms of Max Scherzer, he might have found a little bit of a stride here. 2 starts in a row against the Dodgers and Kansas City, I believe the other one was. 6 innings pitched, 1 earned in one of those, and then 2 earned in the other. I think we have 2 good pitchers on the mound. I am going to give a little bit of an edge to Matthew Boyd. If you're going to be a pitcher that does anything against the Blue Jays, seems lately you got to be a lefty. Matthew Boyd's a lefty. I don't exactly love the pitch mix for either side here, though. Max Scherzer's going to throw that slider. The Cubs hit that well. Matthew Boyd's going to throw the fastball changeup. Toronto hits both of those well. So I'm also going to pivot towards the over, and I think I might like that over, especially if you can get it at 7.5. even more than the Cubs. I think that we've seen 2 games so far where, Toronto showed up 5-1 win, and then the Cubs showed up 4-1 win. Who's to say that we can't have both of these offenses show up today? Obviously, it could be asking for a lot, but at the end of the day, these are still 2 of the better, bats in the entire league. Now, have the Cubs done anything recently? Not so much. I don't want to go that far, but, Toronto still maybe the best offense in the league right now, so us to get to 8 runs in this spot does not seem like it's all that much of a tall task. A couple player prop spots, we can take a peek at the dashboard. I'll explain how to get access to this in a little bit. I didn't pop them up on the screen, but because I still want to do a little bit more due diligence and digging on them, but don't mind Max Shaw. We like his pitch mix rating, right? And that's pretty much coming down to the fact that we're going to see fastball and slider as 2 primary pitches, and he hits both those well. And then Dalton Varsho, another name here. You can see changeup and fastball, 2 pitches that we really should care about in terms of Matthew Boyd. He hits those really well. Both of these guys hit the hand that the pitcher's throwing as well. So Dalton Varsho and Matt Shaw, 2 lower level guys in the lineup that actually could make their way onto a final play today, but I didn't throw them up on the screen. Apologies there. Just haven't done the full dig on them. They're just kind of early looks, I would say. All right, real quick, before we do move on with the rest of the games, guys, go check out Sleeper. How many times do I have to tell you, huh? You can scan the QR code right on your screen right now. You can take a screenshot of it if you're on your phone, or you can go to the link in the description as well as the pinned comment. You'll get a Tarek Skubal free squared today, and I bet Sleeper has a bunch of different discounts right now. We do this sometimes, and they've yet to let me down. Yes, looks like we have some preseason football action, a 35% boost, a 5% protective Patrick Mahomes square, a Ashton Genty square, Malik Willis square, McMillan square. There is a ton of discounts live on Sleeper right now, including that Scooble one that you'll get. So again, check out that link down in the description as well as the pinned comment. You get a free square today. You get all those discounts, and guess what? You also get your first deposit matched up to $100. Guys, you need to be on this before football because you're going to get a bunch of these preseason deals for season-long plays and everything like that. So now is the time. Not much time left, obviously, before football, kicks off. So go ahead and check it out. Again, that link will be down below in the description as well as the pinned comment, or just go back and get that QR code. All right, game number 3, we got the Guards taking on the Marlins. Yesterday, a high-scoring game between these 2 teams, and the Marlins ended up pulling that one out. We also had Jacob Marcy to get 1 hit yesterday, and he hit 1,000,000 home runs. You look at his box score, and it looks like they accidentally spilled a bunch of numbers into it. I think he had 7 RBIs, 4 hits, 2 home runs. Crazy, and a 13-4 win there. Today on the mound for the Guardians is going to be Tanner Bybee. He's going up against Edward Cabrera. Cabrera has allowed 1 run in each of his last 4 starts, 5 2/3, 6. Then he had an 8-inning outing, 1 earned, 11 strikeouts. I think that 1 earned was a home run too, against Atlanta. Bybee has not looked all that great, right? 3 straight starts of 4 earned. He's only pitching 5 innings. For me, this is a spot in which I think the Marlins can pull another one out. A lot of the guys I like in their lineup today, including Jacob Marcy again, but Edwards, Stowers, and Marcy, 3, obviously some of the bats that are working for them right now could be really good today. But I'm also going to take a peek at the over because I do think that as good as Eddie Cabrera is and as fantastic as he's been, I do think that there's a little bit of regression, coming. And if not, then fine. The Marlins was a good look and he pitched a good game, but asking for 8 runs from a Cleveland team that I do think their offense is starting to move in the right direction. Their last 10 games here, from least recent to most recent, 5-4, 7-3, 4-9, 3-4, 4-4. Not many duds in that, right? So I do think that they should have a fair shot at, getting a couple off of Cabrera and, being able to do their part here. So I do like that over 7.5. Obviously, Cabrera is very talented. We're not kind of shying away from that, but the fact that both these teams I think could score 4 runs kind of puts that one over the top for me. Over the top, no pun intended. But I do end up leaning towards the Marlins because I think you have the more talented pitcher on the mound with some decent bats, especially against righties, and you're getting plus money. I think it's plus 125 right now for Miami. So yeah, that over could definitely be a play. Marseille, maybe it's the worst time to get him, but you could still, for I think 140, you can get him to get a hit, which is crazy after he had 1,000,000 of them yesterday. But I don't know if we need to get greedy. We cashed big with him yesterday. Do we really need to double down on it? We'll see. I do think that over has a good chance of being a final play though. All right, Washington taking on the Phillies. Phillies coming off of 2 pretty ugly games against Cincinnati. They lose 6-1, and then they lose 8-0 yesterday with Chris Sanchez on the bump. Washington actually coming off of a nice win, 8-7 win over Kansas City. They were plus 165 dogs in that game. Today we have Jesus Luzardo on the bump for Phillies going up against Brad Lord. I don't think Brad Lord is getting nearly the amount of credit that he should be getting. This is a guy that has a sub-2 ERA over his last 5 starts. He's giving you an average of, 5 innings or so, 4 hits per game, less than a home run per game. Like, he's been pretty damn good. Now, do I think the Phillies walk in here and lose another one? No, and they should hit, his pitches fairly well, but I think he'll do enough to keep this game somewhat low scoring. And even if he doesn't, I'm not quite sure Washington gets to Luzardo at all. So even if this is a game in which the Phillies put up 5-6 runs, it could be like a 6-2 game, So I'm going to lean Phillies -1 because I do think that, they're not going to lose 3 in a row, and now they kind of have a soft spot here against this Washington team. Overall, though, -1, you're still paying a lot of juice. I don't know if we fully get there. One spot that I could totally see us getting there would be with Nathaniel Lau, under 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Really like it. We only have him at a 2.9 pitch mix rating here against Jesus Luzardo, and that's largely in part to the slider that he's going to get. That's the #1 pitch that Luzardo throws, and we can even see over on Outlier. By the way, guys, geez, speak of, if you guys do want to check out Outlier right there, scan that QR code. Also linked down in the description, 7-day free trial. But he hit a home run yesterday. Before that, the dude had been ass, right? So I like the spot here. He's 0 for 5 against Luzardo. Against the lefty, 174. Luzardo against lefty bats, even better. And here we go. Ready? His slider, 240 WOBA against. You can even see the heat map there on completely different side of the plate as to where he does hit it. Now, he hits the fastball a little bit better, but even the heat map here, it's like, okay, he hits it when it's up and into him. Luzardo against left-handed bats likes to keep it out and away. So I think it could be a decent spot here for a Nathaniel Lowe under. The problem is, I don't know if we've been exactly spot on with some of these unders lately. Every time we hit another, the guy goes for like 3 home runs. We have to talk about it the next day, and that ain't fun. So this is going to be something we're looking at, but we'll see if we get there. We might do it. All right, next up, we have the Mets taking on the Braves. By the way, guys, we do a parlay of the day video over on the second channel, so make sure to check that out. More Guy Boston Sports. Just search it up and you'll find it. It's also in the Discord and everything. But we had the Mets as like our safe money line play in the parlay yesterday. How'd that one turn out? They end up losing 6. They scored 6 runs. They end up losing, I think it was 11-6. And Carlos Carrasco got tattooed right away. And then all of a sudden, 4th inning rolls around, 9 runs came in. So yeah, and that was when David Peterson kind of, crapped the bed, I guess. To me, in this spot, there's only one spot to look just because of the juice. It's going to be the Braves. I don't think that this Mets team, even though they did get the monkey off their back and got a win a couple days ago, I don't think that they should be, -200 favorites in this spot. This Braves team was playing some decent baseball. It's Bryce Elder versus Kodai Senga on the mound, and while I will say that Bryce Elder almost trips and falls and gives you 5 runs, I do think that his pitch mix could be okay today. You can see it here. Where's that here? This is the updated one. Bryce Elder, slider and sinker. Neither one of these 2 pitches should give him all that much trouble, and they should give trouble to the Mets. The Mets offense also hasn't been doing too much lately. Flip it over to Kodai Senga, fastball cutter. This Braves team should be able to hit at least those 2 pitches, so I think there's justification to get to the Braves. They won yesterday as massive underdogs, and that almost hurts the idea of them doing it again in my brain, so maybe we stick away from it, but that'd be the only thing that I look at. Same thing with the Mets team total under. One player prop spot that I definitely don't mind would be Michael Harris here, over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. The guy has been absolutely going off, right? 249 against righties. Against lefty bats, Kodai Senga struggles a little bit more. The fastball he hits well, the cutter he hits well, the slider not so much, but you're getting that 12% of the time. The 2 of the main 3 pitches he does hit well. So I could see Michael Harris having another good game. The problem is, just like we're thinking about taking the Mets, like Michael Harris has been on fire. At some point he probably regresses, and it probably would be when we decide to take him, All right, Twins, Tigers. On the mound for Minnesota is going to be Bailey Ober. He's going up against Tarek Skubal. Skubal's coming off of 2 starts in which he really didn't look all that much like himself. I mean, you could say the 7 innings, 3 earned against the Phillies was a good start, but at the same time, even the 3 earned doesn't fit his profile. You know what I mean? The real weird start against the Angels, 4 2/3, 4 earned, 6 strikeouts, 2 home runs. So I'd like to think that Tarek Skubal was probably on a little bit of a revenge tour here. Last time he pitched against this squad, which was just about a month and a half ago, he went 7 innings, no earned, 1 hit, 13 strikeouts. He should be pretty good. I'm going to lean towards the Tigers -1. That even might be too juiced right now. So a potential look here at the, I guess at the Twins team total under, and hold on, we got to fix this. It is a 7.5 total right here. But Twins team total under, maybe that's a spot in which we can consider. It's still going to be super low and super juiced because obviously we're paying the Skubal tax, but it's kind of the only thing that I can fully get behind. Yeah, -165 for under 3.5. They've done that in, looks like, yeah, I guess three of their last 5 going up against a really good pitcher. That would be the only thing that I kind of consider in this game. If you want to look at some Scooble props, you could look at that. I mean, realistically, I think that he's going to have a very well game pitched. Finnegan pitched yesterday, their closer. Vest, their, I think, setup/closer, and then as well as Gibson Long. So a few of those bullpen arms that they like to go to did pitch yesterday, so maybe Scooble over in outs. Maybe you can look at him strikeouts, hits loud, that type of stuff. The problem is, again, you're going to be paying a lot of tax for anything on him. So it's going to be a Tigers day for me. Maybe -1 if we can get anything that's, remotely worth the juice. But I think it's going to be pretty damn taxed, which makes sense. We're late in the year. We have a massive pitching advantage. And throw in the fact, actually, that Minnesota took 2 of 3 against the Tigers last time. There's probably, a built-in tax there that we'll be paying for the Tigers to get revenge with their ace on the mound. All right, last game of the night, guys. If you made it this far in the video, go ahead and comment 16. You're about to hit the 16-minute mark. Really do appreciate you tuning in and spending a little time with me today. Obviously, a little bit shorter than normal, but that's because it's a smaller slate, right? But last game of the night here, we got the Rockies taking on the D-backs. Colorado coming off of actually a winning series against St. Louis, which is crazy. Yesterday, they won 6-5. Now, they obviously fly back to Colorado. And the Diamondbacks coming from, I believe they're in Texas. Yeah, they were in Texas. They end up winning that series as well. So both these teams kind of as underdogs took their last series. I think we look at an over here first and foremost. We have Bradley Blaylock on the mound going up against Eddie Rodriguez. You could say, Blaylock has been really, really bad, but you can also make the argument that Rodriguez has kind of been right there with him. Now, both of these offenses are inconsistent, but I think Arizona's a little bit better than anyone thought, especially post-trade deadline, okay? So they should be the team that wins this one, but for the price right now, it's going to be Rockies for me, especially because they are at home. Arizona going from Texas to Colorado. I get that Colorado had to do a similar thing, but still, they're more used to that stadium. So I'm going to lean Rockies, but I could see, obviously, Arizona winning it. So if you're on Arizona today, don't let me talk you off it. The thing that I really do have interest in would be the over 12. I've already seen some 12.5s out there, so nice. If we can get a 12, that's fantastic. And again, Rodriguez should be able to give you, 3 earned at bare minimum, and then you hand it off to their bullpen. This Arizona bullpen stinks. This season, nearly a 5 ERA, a whip of 1.5. They're bottom 5 in both of those categories. And then talk about Colorado. Anything you could do, I could do worse. They're literally a worse bullpen. They used a lot of arms yesterday, and Blaylock should also do the, give me 4 innings of 3 earned plus baseball. So yeah, though it's in Coors, that's the reason that number is so high, but, and both teams are traveling there. Sometimes that's like a soft spot or a dead spot. I can't really see an under here. So I'm going to lean towards the over. Like I said, Rockies kind of just for the value. There are a couple player prop spots that I would consider. James McCann being an under, and then the top of that lineup, Perdomo, Marte, Carroll. I think they could all have fantastic days for Arizona. And then Colorado, the middle of the order there. You have Doyle, Beck, those 2 guys I think I would consider in terms of overs as well. So I think there could be a lot of runs here. That's why I like the over. Player props could obviously follow suit. But guys, it's going to wrap it up for today's show. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, go ahead, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button as well. Again, comment 16 if you made it this far into the video. And I'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.